It's a somber day in this tiny Burin Peninsula community. Here inside St. Elizabeth's Church, Roman Catholics are gathering to pay their respects. A former citizen of Lord's Cove who lived away for years has returned to be laid to rest. Leading the ceremony is this man, Father Nelson Boren, a busy priest from the Philippines who serves as spiritual leader for 5 churches in the St. Lawrence area. As these Catholics say goodbye to one of their own, they're filled with questions about what will become of their beloved church, which will soon be for sale, and what will become of their faith community now that Father Boren has announced he will soon be leaving. Some fear the worst.
I'm afraid that the Catholic Church in Newfoundland is in the process of imploding. It's going to explode on itself with what has happened.
Parishioners are hurt, and they say they are also victims of another form of abuse.
This priest is small in stature, but his voice speaks loudly for a congregation who feels they are under attack, having to sell off sacred buildings they already bought and paid for in order to compensate victims of abuse at the Mount Cashel orphanage, crimes committed by members of the Christian Brothers decades ago.
That's really a frustrating and heartbreaking experience for people to suffer because of the sins of the past.
He's speaking out against the wishes of his superiors with provocative statements like this.
It should have been dealt long before, and now parishioners are being dragged into this mess.
Members of the clergy have largely avoided the media spotlight since the Archdiocese announced in December it would be selling off major properties to settle abuse claims. Father Boren is the exception. He raised eyebrows in March with a strongly worded letter to the Telegram newspaper, and he agreed to this interview. After 6 years as an ordained priest, he's had enough. He'll remove his clerical collar at the end of this month.
I just needed to have a leave of absence and to have a time for myself after so many years dealing with all the different challenges.
His back aches from driving over rough roads, but admits there's much more to his life-changing decision.
It is a financial thing for me as well.
He says his pay has been cut.
I have a family to support back home and even my own expenses as well. We were not consulted and we are not happy about it, and I'm telling it frankly.
So this priest believes his future is in pizza. He's partnering with some other Filipinos in St. John's to open a business.
It came to a point that I am already pushed to the side that I cannot do anything about it but to decide for myself.
For practicing Catholics in the area, it's hard to find an upside. Congregations are shrinking rapidly. Iconic churches like this one are now too large, too costly to maintain. And with a shortage of priests, it's unlikely Father Boren will be replaced anytime soon.
We've dealt with lots of adversity over the years, like any parish has. But this right now threatens to close our parish down, or at least decimate it, to the point where we're be just a shadow of what we always were.
It's shaken my faith from the point of view of the inaction that happened years ago. That's always been an issue. Like that. Had this been taken care of, and we always feel great empathy for the victims of abuse, and it's gone on too long.
Archbishop Peter Hunt has declined repeated interview requests and would not comment on Father Boren's pending departure. But in a statement, he said it's important to remember the purpose for the sales process, which is to compensate abuse victims and hopefully close a dark chapter in the history of the Archdiocese. Catholics like Sarah Slaney have deep ties to this place. Her parents and grandparents helped build this church. She believes big changes are coming in places like St. Lawrence.
I think we'll always have the presence of some kind of a faith here. It may be in a smaller location. It certainly will go on.
But it will go on without this clergyman. Instead of administering the sacraments, Father Boren says he'll be serving up slices. Terry Roberts, CBC News, St. Lawrence.